Thank you for joining us for Taking a Stand Against Falls. We're going to be talking today about some techniques to help people get up after a fall. Of course, the first step is prevention, doing everything you can to try and avoid falling in the first place. But even with our best efforts, sometimes falls do occur, and we want to make sure people feel empowered to be able to get up on their own if possible. I'm Amanda. I'm an occupational therapist who specializes in home safety and helping people prevent falls and recover from falls. And I'm joined today.
I'm Erica, and I'm an occupational therapy student.
Wonderful. And Erica is so generously demonstrating some of the fall recovery techniques for us in just a little bit here. Before we dive in, we do have a liability statement that will be captioned in our online video here. We are doing this demonstration for educational purposes only. We want to help as many people as possible feel empowered and safe from falls and be able to get up and not have as much fear with this really scary event that can happen. So before we dive in here, just a little overview of what we're talking about. We're going to go over 3 different fall recovery techniques, and the very first thing you want to think about if you've had a fall, and we are talking about falling from usually a standing or potentially a seated position, but down to the ground. The very first thing you want to do is really check in with your body. Do a mental scan, try and move all of the areas of your body slowly, a little bit at a time, to see where you might have injury or you might have more pain or concerns. The next step, and a very, very important one, is to do what you can to try and call for help. Best practice is always to have somebody available to help assist you if possible. What we're talking about today are those situations where there's just no way to get help. You're not near a phone, you don't have a cell phone in your pocket or nearby. There's lots of recommendations we've heard from some great folks we've talked to. Some actually carry their cell phone in a fanny pack or in a purse across their chest or in a shirt pocket. Those are great ways to keep it with you. Some people are able to get to a window and knock or wave to alert neighbors to get some help, or knock on a wall or a floor to alert someone else in the home. But if you're in a position where none of those options are available to you, we want to talk about these techniques today so that you are not stuck on the floor and able to get up. We know evidence shows us that the longer that somebody's down on the floor, the more complications they can have for a fall. And so that's part of our big mission today. Excellent. Shall we get started?
Sounds good.
All right, now Erica has taken a fall and she's going to demonstrate for us our first technique of getting onto hands and knees, getting to a secure piece of furniture like a couch or a chair that's really heavy, sturdy. It's not going to move on you if you're trying to put weight on it, or other surface that's well mounted that you can really put some strength into. So Erica is going to start by rolling gently over onto her side. You'll notice she's bending one of her knees to make that roll a little easier. Getting onto hands and knees. Now, if Erica had a knee injury even before the fall, or certainly had injured it in the fall, this technique is probably not the best fit, and we'd recommend one of the other techniques that we'll talk about in a few moments here. But if you are comfortable in a hands and knee position, you would want to crawl over to the steady surface, again, like a couch, chair, or other item that's nice and heavy, not going to move on you. Next step is you'll notice Erica's taking a little pause there for a moment. It's really important. We are panicked after a fall. It's a scary situation and it's easy to try and move really quickly, but you're going to think more a problem-solving way if you slow down and take your time. And so she's taking little pauses, as you'll notice, in between positions, just to give her body a moment to think about it. Right, now she's going to come up to the piece of furniture, get as close as she can. You'll notice she's putting some weight through her forearms. She's going to have a little bit more sturdiness and strength on the forearms than just on the palms of her hand. However, if you've got an elbow injury from the fall or pre-existing, this might not feel as comfortable and you might have to push down on your hand instead. She's going to now put one leg up And one leg down and lift herself, ease onto that surface as gently as she can. Very nicely done. So for those that are away from a secure surface, like we've talked about, and are also uncomfortable in the hands and knees crawling to the surface position, we wanted to introduce another technique for getting closer to a firm surface. We'll affectionately call this the booty scoot, but the idea being if hands and knees are not feeling comfortable, this is sitting on your backside and sliding yourself backwards. And Erica's going to demonstrate it for us now. So again, if she's fallen to the ground, she can bend a knee and roll over onto her side and get into a better position to sit herself up to seated. Now, with this technique, we really want to emphasize that it's not just using your arm strength, it's using as much of your leg strength as you can. If one of your legs is injured or one of your arms is injured, it might mean that you're not able to use all 4 points of your body. You might have to modify this a little bit. But Erica's going to show us, assuming that her left hip has been injured and she's not able to use her left leg in this position. So you'll notice she's pushing off from her leg. It's going to have the most power in her body by using her leg muscles, and so it's important as she's scooting herself backwards to the seat. Again, another technique that you can use in addition to crawling on hands and knees, or if instead of crawling on hands and knees, if that position is not comfortable for you or causing more pain. Okay, we're going to show you a second technique here. This technique involves looking around your environment and using any items that might be able to help you lift you a little bit higher to the surface that you're trying to get onto. Again, this would be a secure piece of furniture that's not going to move if you're putting your weight on it. If Erica was to position herself against an item like a couch and try and lift up from this position all the way from the floor, though she can do it, it's a little more challenging. So for folks where this is a really hard position, maybe they don't have the arm strength or leg strength needed to be able to accomplish that, they might be able to crawl over to their bookcase, or maybe even have supplies in a handy place in a room that they use very often. Some people might store some extra books underneath their couch, just in the case that there's a fall that occurs and they can have something easily accessible. Now, it does not always have to be books. It certainly can be other objects like firm couch cushions or other items, firm pillows that might be able to help lift you up. And the idea being that if Erica was to try and lift herself up from the floor, it's going to be way more challenging than if she was able to lift herself up a little bit higher, closer to the surface using an object like books, and then lift up. She only has to go half of the distance instead. So now we're assuming that Erica's crawled over to her bookcase, gotten some nice big books. She's going to start showing us how to use these books to lift herself up. So she's going to lean one side, place the book under one side of her body, lean the other direction, place a book of the similar height on the other side, and then continue this process. Ideally having books that are about the same height so that it's fairly even. She's going to take her time with it. This isn't the easiest. It takes quite a bit of balance as you're leaning back and forth. And she also wants to be careful that she's not stacking the books so high that she's becoming off balance just from that. Now you'll notice that she's quite a bit closer to that surface than she started out. So now whenever you're ready, Erica, go ahead and have you lift up. Bend one leg or both legs if you can comfortably push from both legs, and using your arm strength and lifting yourself backwards onto the seat. Again, going slowly, gently, trying to take your time with this is recommended. we're going to show you the third technique now in this video series on getting up from a fall. So, assuming that someone has a fall down or going up a staircase, either outside like we're demonstrating today, or certainly inside your home, or if you've had a fall and are able to either crawl on your hands and knees or booty scoot, some of those techniques we showed you earlier in the video, to the bottom of the staircase. The reason this can be helpful is because you can slowly lift yourself backwards onto each step until you can get to a point where you're high enough up on the staircase you have the ability to stand much easier. So Erica's going to demonstrate for us once again of using her arm and her leg strength, both legs if she's able to, but certainly if she's had an injury to one of her legs or one of her arms, this will look a little bit differently. And she's just going to slowly go little at a time, lifting herself backwards with the goal again of getting up to the point where she can comfortably stand. Now, ideally, you'll have a rail that can help you like she's doing here, using it to be able to help with lifting. Thank you so much for watching our video today. We hope these techniques are helpful to you and wish you good health and good safety. Thanks so much.
Thank you.